Today I'm gonna drive the nemesis of this, which is this beautiful Singapore grey BMW M5 F10 2012 car. And yeah, thanks to my friend who offered me, but you guys know me. I feel I'm always extremely careful when I drive other people's car, so I wouldn't dare to push it in any way. One thing I really like about these seats is that look at the angle that you can adjust the seats on. This may look awkward on camera, but I tell you, this is the best seating position, especially for someone my frame. Alright, and yeah, hope I enjoy the day. Hope I don't cause trouble to the car. Let's go. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is crazy. Okay, see, I never expect so many people. Oh, entrance is, oh my god, it's full. Did they leave a lane to pass here? Okay. Look at that. Oh, a bunch of Volvos. Nice. CNA7. This gila. Oh, LS460. McLaren. Oh, I see a Maca. A Maca. Oh my god. Can I turn here? Oh dear. Yep, this is Evo Club Tri-Station in the mornings on a weekend, and that's how mad it is. It's like Supra. That's a beautiful 911. Where is stop? I guess I'll just the Volvos are going off. They are like, this is too many people. Are they going? Madness. Morning. 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 Whoa. Crazy.
If your bitch keep me, ride with the mob, voila, check you and me, into the job, word is the name, they wanna get the chain, turn on photo watch, he plain chain.
Good morning. there were just like too many cars just now. So before we caught any attention, I mean, we're not racing, we're just a bunch of friends who love cars, and we meet up at this place every Saturday morning. But this week we decided to turn it to a Sunday because there are some people who just couldn't join on Saturdays. And we turned it to Sunday this week, and boom, my gosh, the amount of people. And, that's Chiang. Yep. Let's drive the car. I'm not familiar with this car. I mean, I've driven it when it launched, and then sporadically some other friends' car, you know. But I heard it's powerful. I heard it is powerful. Oh yes, it is. The suspension definitely felt the early 2010s. You know, during this era when BMW, I think they're the first in the world that introduced, actually they introduced this in the mid 2000s, right? Sport, comfort, these type of settings. Okay, if there are somebody else who introduced this before BMW did, do correct me, but from my limited knowledge, BMW was the one that really popularized this thing, and it became standardized across the board. Basically, there are cars where you can press a button and probably, you know, like sport mode or something, but BMW was the one that combined all this into one mode, and then it alters, you know, like the steering, the brake, the pedals, the suspension, the transmission logics and all that. Now, in sports mode, like what I just did, I put them into Sport Plus. The suspension definitely tightens up, the steering wheel as well. But the way the suspension rebounds in terms of taking in compression, and then basically you just feel that the travel is a lot lesser, and it reacts to the road in a way whereby it's not, how do I put this? It's alright, it sits alright, but the way it sits, there is no secondary dampening that lessens the impact of what you feel when the suspension hardens up in a way or has less travel in a way. So it's a bit of a, it's not a controlled compression and just stabilize, whereas it is an immediate compression and then you feel the aftershock. So that, in a way, when you are driving in back roads or highways that are built like back roads, and it will in a way rob you away from a little bit of confidence. Compare this to a standard, not expensive suspension that when I review cars I always praise, be it Ford suspension or Volkswagens, the Passats and all that, right? They feel softer when you corner, but because they control the weight transfer so well, even though your car is like slanted a little bit, but the weight transfer stopped and the car sits on one side, and even during that phase it is still absorbing the undulations. You actually dare to push even more. So maybe I'm not familiar with this, I might take some time, but overall I mean, it takes a lot more driving than a little while to understand the car, or given that this belongs to another person, or the fact that I even dare to. Ooh, that's a Taycan Sports Turismo. Green. Nice. 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 Yeah. I love the seating position, and I just love it. Visibility is alright because the car is not small, and I lower the seat a lot, but I'm left with like a palm of headroom. Alright. By right, I should be familiar with this platform because I have a 6 Series. But there is enough difference to totally give me a different experience in a way. Yeah, this car feels larger. It feels heavy. I'm sure it is because there's a V8 bi-turbo in front, right? Usually when I reach here, I'll have full confidence and just blast ahead. But today, I'm just gonna keep it safe and steady, right? For those of you not watching from Malaysia, this is a very famous mountain road that enthusiasts loves coming over here on weekends to enjoy our drives. All right. I keep having this notion of thought that, you know, the turbos will come full blast in power and then I will lose the rear and all that. I always have this fear when I'm driving something as big, as powerful as this car. I mean, this type of car, in a way. Whoa, the front is heavy. Kid you not, the front end is as heavy as my Audi in a way. Maybe Audi heavier. Huh? But, oh, the rear gets squirmy. Serious, it's a dry day. It's a dry day. I can feel the rear end getting a bit. But before I need any steering correction, the car captures it, you know, and corrects it. Oh. Bro, Hilux, bro. You stuck in the wrong lane. Oh, there's a 2-door 1 Series. Very rare car. I can only drive smoothly. I don't think I dare to push it like how I do with my 6. So we'll see. Maybe I should drive with manual mode because I noticed the car upshifting even though I'm in Sport Plus for both settings. It shouldn't upshift just now, but it did. Maybe I'm not in the correct setting, I don't know. Because I'm looking at drive here instead of, you know, how Volkswagen groups, they have an S mode there. See, it upshift. So I need to I need to press on the throttle a little bit more to downshift it. Okay. So far I'm not driving in any way faster than my 6 Series over here. Again, I need to clarify, I'm familiar with that car. I'm not familiar with this. So, suspension rebound is easier than my 6 in this mode. Probably in comfort, it will perform better. It's a different school of thought, you know, to not have any perception of weight transfer, or having the weight transfer done early and then settles down and then you can press the car. I want to go into the feel of how a BMW flows. I want that. I want to go into that. Brakes feel good. Let's follow his line, so I don't need to force him to, or give him the impression that he needs to give way. It's safer that way, instead of, you know, side by side going into a turn. Just follow him behind, and then everybody can enjoy their enthusiastic driving safely, because there are other people here who are not car enthusiasts, who are just going about their day. We have to be careful with them as well. Alright? The right side, if anybody is making a U-turn, no one, and then it's safe. A bit sandy here, be careful for... usually until here I'll just let the car cool down, you know, but I'm not pressing it hard in any way. I'm sorry I disappoint you, Nicholas. But given a few more runs, probably I would. Because we have a few friends who own the F10 M5, and we've seen how some of them were able to really extract the performance of this car, which I'm totally not doing it now. You know what's nice about the M5 is that sometimes they put up a roadblock here in anticipation of car people, and then they'll be like, they'll spot you, you know, oh, you drive a sports car. What are you doing here? Car meet? Car gathering? No. But an M5 would very easily just pass by the roadblock as if you are everyday family man, doing your family duties in a way. Alright, so yeah, everybody stop here because of the roadblock. Sundays. Yep, for those of you not from Malaysia, this is how it looks like on weekends mornings on this little hill here. The altitude that we climb by the time we reach here is about, I don't know, 3,000 feet or 4,000 feet, and temperatures would differ from downtown Kuala Lumpur, which should be around 30 degrees. Up here it will be around 20 or 18. Oh, that's Paulus. Supra. Yeah, it's a nice place for people like us to just park our cars and chit chat. Oh, there's a Megane group. Alright, I'll just park here. Alright, let's do a downhill drive in the F10 M5. Now in 2014, or was it 15, they updated the F10 M5. They call it the competition. And there were a host of improvements there. So this is sort of the pre-facelift. A lot of power. It's a lot of power, but I like the delivery. I mean, it is not as explosive as the RS6 or the rear. The rear keeps wanting to see the front at times, but the electronics catch it pretty quickly. So I just have to get used to it. You know, when I do a heavy throttle, not a full throttle. Ooh. Thank you. It's the kind of car where you won't realize you are going at a very high rate of speed until you look at it. I guess that's why the heads-up display is massive. Yeah, it's huge. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but it's huge. Oh, that's Brandon behind. In his Cayenne. That's a racing driver driving the Cayenne diesel. Mad guy in a mad car. It's like what, 900 Newton meters of torque. Loads of grip, loads of power. This car's rear end always feels a little bit squirmy or playful, you may say. Yeah. I think fundamentally what BMW wanted to do with the F10 M5 at first was to return some sanity, I think, to the M5 moniker, because the E60 M5 V10 is a mad car, right?
So what they wanted to do is to give it a lot more comfort, a lot more cruising power, and that's about it. Probably with some adjustments in terms of the dynamics, in terms of suspension and things like that, you know. Give it some adjustability from the electronics. It's a form of luxury back then, right? Being able to do it. But in any way, same goes with the RS6 or the E63 AMG of this time. The E63 AMG of this time is a 5.5 liter V8. You know, it's more of like a 70% luxury, 30% enthusiasm or sporting driving characters, you know. So it's definitely not a dancer around these corners. Maybe they changed it in the competition, but it's the kind of car that you feel that there is a lot of weight being transferred to the tires and the wheels, and you rely on the grip levels of these tires to hold yourself there. Yeah. But it's a different era of technology, I would say. Totally different era. After the early 2010s, where these kind of cars appear, the handling dynamics of cars have improved massively, especially with the introduction of all the more advanced electronics, microchips, processors. You know, they are able to read the inputs and process and then micromanage all these things way better. That's why we see a huge improvement in terms of 0 to 100 times or track times after the 2012-2013 era. And you see, I mean, back then you'd be looking at a 580 horsepower car making 4.2 seconds, which is considered a very fast time. You know, sub 4 second is supercar territory, right? And then all of a sudden you see all these cars, even rear-wheel drive ones, achieving times of 2.9. You know, like the new Aston Martin DBX 700 horsepower SUV. It's my first acceleration run on a slightly sandy gravel-y kind of tarmac, and I'm not even holding my steering wheel straight. I got 3.01 seconds. Madness. The official times that they claim is 3.3. I did 3.01. In a way, all these are due to electronics, advanced electronics, and advancement in tire technology that resulted in all this. So cars from the 2012-13 era, I think this, for what it was back then, is already considered pretty good, you know. Hey, but it's an M5. It's still an M5. You know, you're still able to, I mean, cliche, I mean, on the Autobahn, you know, going 250, 260 in absolute comfort, and that's the whole premise. So, because this came from an era where luxury cars, you know, can barely do a mountain road drive and all that. Yeah. So the current used car values of these F10 M5s, they hover about 200 plus thousand, depending on condition, like 200k or 220,000 ringgit. For those of you not from Malaysia, you just divide by 4. Alright, that's roughly the price of them being sold or transacted over here. The facelift one, the competition, can go up to 250,000. Alright. The guy who overtook me just now in the Cayenne, he just sold his F10 M5 competition for 258,000. You know, so yeah. So in terms of power, comfort, luxury, these are no-brainers now for 200,000. And given that these cars first started appear in 2012, if you're from Malaysia, it's 2022 now, it's the final year where you can get a bank loan from buying one of these. Once we enter the next year, these are considered 11-year-old cars, and banks will no longer provide loans. Now you may still be able to get a 3-year, 4-year loan. If your credit is really good, you can get a 5-year loan out of these. Yeah, and given that these are 4-door cars, you know, you can get like a 90% loan. But depending on how they judge the value of this car, if they judge it around 170 or 180, I mean, there's always a reduction, right, from transacted value. So you can make your guess from there. But I reckon these are great buys, you know. You buy a car like this now for about 200 over 1,000. You can drive it for 5 years, 6 years, and the value will still be about 180. You know, so you're not making a lot of losses here and there. But of course, in terms of maintenance, of course, this is a 4.4 V8 bi-turbo M5, and it's never gonna be the same as maintaining a 2-liter 4-cylinder 528i. Okay, but you get specs that 528s don't get. All right, these super high, you know, these seats. Yeah, I should move you guys. Sorry. Yeah, just look at the interior, look at the seats that I'm sitting on. The headrest even have these little wings to hold my head. Fantastic seats, and they're so comfortable. It's finished in beautiful red Napa leather. Huge sunroof. It's a fantastic interior. And just cruising like that on the highway, when I switch off the M mode, and it's so relaxing. And it's fast, right? It's a very, very fast car.